Hey Lee Tribe and anyone else new to the channel. So about 10 months ago or so, I did a video titled Low Sales, Why You're Not Selling or whatever. And those types of videos always tend to resonate with people because obviously most people are watching because they want to sell more. And one thing I've noticed is that we kind of tend to give many of the same reasons: not able to find low competition keywords, competition or saturation in certain niches, which those are obvious reasons. But there's also some other reasons that I feel no one ever really talks about. And so I thought that I would do this video to address some of the ones that are almost never mentioned, but I think they play a big role in why a lot of you all are not selling. So the first one is information overload. And I was just telling some people in my private group, my student group, how I think this is such a huge reason a lot of newbies never get off the ground, because it's very natural. If you're learning something, you want to get as much information as you can. And sometimes you don't know what you don't know, or don't know what you really need to know. So you try to consume as much information as possible. You start following all these people. You belong to 8,436 Facebook groups. You're taking 4,233 courses. Half of them you're not even opening. And you're overwhelmed with information. And while it's good to subscribe to a lot of different people to get different insights, because everybody brings something different to the teaching space, however, you have to learn when to turn that off and just start uploading. A lot of you need to close YouTube or close Facebook and start uploading, especially if you've been doing this 3 to 6 months and you find that you're spending more time consuming information than you are uploading. Because with print on demand, I don't care who you are, anyone who's selling regularly, like every single day, multiple sales like myself, none of us are selling most of what we're uploading. So in order to find out what to sell, you need to upload a lot. So for me, my success with print on demand has come from scaling the smaller percentage of designs that actually sell. It's not that I'm selling most of what I'm uploading. So it's about being early, and then when it sells, you scale it. So the goal is to sort of be the trendsetter for that idea, whatever. That's been huge for me with print on demand. And then when you are early and it sells a lot, you get a lot of reviews, and reviews actually give designs longevity, especially on Amazon. So what often happens is when you're consuming so much information, things start to contradict themselves. I had somebody ask me in my email, they said, "Hey, Lisa, I noticed you mentioned that it's good to do Redbubble collections, but another creator said Redbubble collections are a waste of time." And I basically said, you know what? We're both right. Because we were both speaking from our own experience. And the reason I said that is collections are great if you promote your designs outside of Redbubble, which is what most people don't do. Most people are just relying on that organic traffic from Redbubble, right? So if you're only getting traffic from Redbubble, they even admit it. Most people or most customers are not going through the shops like that to search the collections. I find the collections helpful if you're linking to it from, let's just say, an email or a website or social media, and you want to group all your designs together, and you have a nice, easy way to show all your designs in one category. That's why I like it. But I don't think the average Redbubble customer that is searching the site is going to different shop collections. Redbubble basically said that when they gave us those new shop designs a couple years ago. They said people just aren't browsing shops like that. I think most of the sales organically on Redbubble come from their email, the personalized home pages, and search. So that other creator was sharing his experience from his point of view. And that's what often happens when you're following a lot of different people. One person might say something and then another person might say something else. But because there are so many different variables with print on demand, everybody's bound to have different opinions. And if you're new, you kind of get confused because you'll go, I really like that person, but they told me this. And I also like this person, but they said this. But you have to remember, we're all speaking from our own experience. So unless we are all uploading the same designs in the same niches at the exact same time, our mileage is going to vary. And so there's a time when you just need to say, look, I've collected this information. Pay attention to the common tips that you see or hear on everybody's videos or podcasts or whatever, like low competition keywords. But after that, it's important to start uploading. You need a lot of uploads in order to sell. That's how you learn. Personally, I've never been a person that like follows a lot of people or joins a lot of Facebook groups. I find when I'm following too many people or taking too many courses or watching too many videos, I get overwhelmed and confused. And I'm the type of person I would rather just make the mistakes myself and do a lot of stuff, testing, and then just figure it out for myself. Now, because of that, I tend to make a lot of mistakes, and maybe that's not the most efficient way, but it kind of works for me, and I don't get caught up in that information overload trap that a lot of you guys are in. So it's really about finding that balance. Nothing wrong with subscribing to a lot of different people, but just keep in mind, everybody is speaking from their own experience. Now, if you're new and you're like, Lisa, well, I don't know if I should be focusing on design or keywords or whatever. Like I said in that last video, in my opinion, the marketing keyword part is the most important when you're learning, because you can sell a very, very simple text design and make a ton of money from that if it's a great idea with the right timing and the right niche. And then once you start selling regularly and you start understanding niches and keywords, then you can invest or take time and learn software. I had somebody ask me, like, how many software programs should they learn, or what are the top 3 software programs they should learn? I was like, top 3? You just need to learn one. Just learn to be proficient enough in one program. But the important part when you're new is to learn how to find those niches and learn how to make a design that connects with a buyer. What would that buyer want to wear? Remember, shirts are like billboards for people. That customer needs to say, oh my goodness, that's me. That's me. They need to identify with that quote. Learn how to do that first, and then you can improve your design skills. The second reason, and this sort of goes with the first reason, you're a perfectionist. Perfectionism is the killer of creativity, and I would almost even say enjoyment when it comes to print on demand. And that's something no one ever really talks about. You also want to enjoy this. There's nothing more relaxing to me than getting up on a nice 75-degree morning, taking my iPad to the park and doing some designs with Procreate. I enjoy the creative process in this business. And I feel like so many people, they get so caught up in the research, in the little bitty details that don't often even matter. People worry about how long the title should be. How many sentences should you have in your description? What's the exact number of demand or results you should go for? And there really is no exact. It's going to vary. And you learn that by uploading a lot and selling a lot of different designs. And that teaches you, you know what? I don't always have to follow the rules exactly. There's going to be variations here. But perfectionists tend to get caught up on the details because perfectionists a lot of times don't like to make mistakes. They're very uncomfortable with doing things wrong. And, you know, we get on perfectionists a lot, but perfectionists are actually very, very smart people, usually very well educated. They take their time. They're careful. But when it comes to the unknown, you guys are very, very comfortable with the unknown. And the thing about print on demand, there's a lot of unknown. Because I might tell you, okay, look for a range of 300 to 600 results. But then somebody else might sell a shirt and there were 2,000 results. Because we don't know exactly what keyword caused the sale. And there's all these unknowns. But that's why having the experience, and that's what perfectionists lack in this. They spend so much time on these details. It takes 2 hours to upload a design. So by the time you're done uploading, you're exhausted. And see, I'm not a perfectionist. And that's where I think sometimes I get disconnected with my audience. I've learned this from my awesome private student group. You guys have taught me so much. I'm not a perfectionist. I tend to just go, okay, I just got to get this out here. And that doesn't mean I don't do research and I'm not just putting out crappy designs, but I don't get caught up on the titles and the descriptions. I just want to get stuff out there so I can have volume and learn. And I think that's the most important part. And you'll discover, wow, there's a whole lot of different variations that will work here. And if you are somebody that struggles with this, my recommendation would be to get together with a bunch of other perfectionists and just have a Zoom upload party. get some drinks, just sit there and upload 50 or 60 designs together quickly. And I don't mean don't spend time on the research and all that, but you guys have to really get comfortable with the unknown and knowing that there's no such thing as perfection when it comes to this, because you'll never have enough designs uploaded so you can learn what sells, because such a small percentage of our designs are going to sell anyway. You got to have that experience as a perfectionist. Overthinking will kill your creativity. And that's true with print on demand. So not trying to beat up on you guys because, hey, there's disadvantages to the way I operate sometimes. I'm just kind of all over the place. But I experiment a lot, which is what helps me learn. All right, number 3. And I don't really know if I have a solution to this. I really just wanted to bring this up, hoping that my international students or viewers will comment, because this seems to be a very big thing that nobody talks about, and that's international print-on-demand designers, because the bulk of sales are coming to the US markets, right? So if you're not from the US or you don't know the culture, you might find coming up with these ideas difficult, especially if grammar or sentence structure is an issue. I'm working with 2 students right now that are struggling with that part. And I'm always having to tell them, you got to work on your grammar, because if you got a typo or your subject and verb is not agreeing, nobody's going to buy that shirt. So we were talking about this in my private student group, and someone said, I am fine with the language itself unless it's non-famous slang. I am a lot on YouTube, so this helps a bit. The most problematic thing, though, is the culture. Here in Italy, you would never see people wearing shirts about elections, for example. I do find it hard to understand the market taste and how some temporary memes events can actually go as far as being successful designs. It would never work in my country. I hear this a lot. Someone was saying, who buys Halloween shirts? We don't do that over here. It's different. But that's why having, maybe Merch Informer could be helpful. I don't use Merch Informer, but I know a lot of people do. And maybe if you're struggling to at least find niches that are hot that can help you. Someone else said, for me, the main problem is to understand some phrases or jokes, which you will understand only if you live in the US or UK. That's why I usually avoid the specific topics. I just go for what I know, since research that unknown phrase will take a long time. And someone else said, just invest some time to understand the phrases and jokes. Now, here's the deal with that. I know I did a pun video recently. You don't have to do a pun t-shirt or a joke t-shirt. Those tend to go over well, but there's a lot of other topics that are out there. There's lifestyle topics like baby showers and birthdays, and there's a gazillion ways to niche those broad topics down. So you don't necessarily just have to do jokes and puns. I chose that because I like doing them and I've had success with those, but there's all kinds of things that you can do. So if you are an international print-on-demand designer and you're not from the US and you have found tools or you have tips that you want to share, please do so. Put them in the comments and maybe you can help your fellow international designers out. All right, the last one. Now, I touched on this in the last video. You all upload too late for holidays. And I struggle. Let me tell you what I struggle with. As a creator, what I've noticed is that you all seem to be most interested in holiday designs like a week before the holiday. And I'm like, but isn't the shipping cut off by that point? Like, why is everybody so interested in this? And it's so close to the holiday. It's always been interesting to me. And so one of the reasons I've stopped doing so many holiday videos is I'm already way done with that holiday by the time people are interested in it. And I think this is so important because if something sells early, I'll scale it. So by the time the Merch Informer people have seen it, that it's selling, it's already been out there and I've already scaled it. And that's one of the reasons in that video, I didn't put Easter in the thumbnail because I knew it was 2 months early. And I knew you guys are going to be like, Easter's 2 months away. I'm not thinking about that. But I have noticed that you guys don't seem to be interested in holidays until we're at the last minute. And maybe that's because you're waiting for those BSRs to drop and you're uncomfortable doing designs when there's no evidence that it's going to sell. But there are clues, like I talked about in that last video. If you see a design that was uploaded last year and it's already got some reviews and you see 2 months before the holiday that the BSR is at, let's just say 1 million, then it's just sold within the last week. So that lets you know that that topic is still going to work again this year. So come up with some unique designs for that keyword combo. And that tends to be how I work. We're going to be doing a live keyword research for my private group next month. And I'm doing holidays that are ahead. I'm not going to wait until 2 weeks before the holiday. I feel like you all should be uploading way earlier than you do. And shout out to those of you who left me comments that you sold because of that pun video. I know somebody sold a t-shirt. I want to say it was the same day I uploaded the video. That's crazy. So that's an example. I'd get something like that to sell early, and then I would scale that idea. And then someone else left a comment on the video itself and said they got their first MBA sale because of that video. So that's cool. I love it when you guys let me know that the videos help, and it also kind of boosts my ego a little bit too, you know. But let me know what you guys think of the video. If you have any other struggles, be sure to put them down in the comments and we can chat about it. Talk to you later. By the way, if you're new to print on demand, be sure to check out my complete guide for beginners. It is incredibly detailed with examples and guidance, perfect for a newbie or if you're struggling with your sales. Simply visit passiveshirtprofits.com, scroll down to the bottom and click the thumbnail. See you there.